Hello, class. Today I will be talking about the African National Congress, which is also known as the ANC, for my video research presentation. My name is Ryan Peterson, and here we go. So, the reason for selecting this topic was essentially when I was just starting out in college. I didn't really know too much, and one of my mentors that I had just met through my brother, she was willing to take me in and help me with my classes, and she told me that I would love AFAM classes, which is African American History Study classes. And when I got to San Jose State, I took an AFAM class, and they recommended, or one of the project assignments was watching Mandela: A Long Walk to Freedom. Through that, I was very happy and extremely stunned at what was going on. Um, that's when I first got my taste of the ANC, and here's some things I found out about it. It started as an underground militarized faction to fight apartheid in South Africa. Many of their leaders were imprisoned and charged for treason. They were able to spark a movement within the younger generations. There was some corruption within the group, as well as they were able to get elected into office multiple times. And in the end, they always had a lot of trouble with leadership and trying to find itself. The next slide is ANC's contribution to African history. From about 1912 to 1940, the ANC mainly focused on political and civil rights acts. This took its toll a little bit away from education, as since they were focusing mainly on policy rights and civil rights acts, they had very little time to mess with educational issues, such as the education policy pronouncements of 1912, and basically which helped to establish, and something else that helped to establish night schools. These were the separate but equal movements. A lot of them in the ANC tended to try to stay away from these topics, as there was other groups focusing on it at the time, and so they tended to not get in between each other's judgment, as well as it became more of a competition later on. From the 1940s and 1960s, the ANC focused on political issues revolving around the ANC Youth League. Even though they focused on their youth, it still was a little bit harder for them to focus on education, as they didn't really focus and iron out all the details for their plan for education. They were also part of the revival of South Africa in the 1970s. And in 1994, the ANC elected into government, helping to regulate and create policies, and they are still doing and helping to this day. 5 of my major research points. This would be, although a group for social and political change had many internal troubles, the ANC focused on creating more opportunity for incorporating the youth, but hardly participated in educational policies. Like I said earlier, I found that to be very interesting, as education is all where it starts, and for them to not educate their future members as well as themselves on policies that they could be accidentally crossing, I found very ignorant. The fact that they also had many internal troubles is just like any other political group or any other focus group, as not a lot of people are going to see eye to eye, and this is very important to see even when in a group such as the ANC, who is trying to make positive change for everyone. The ANC tended to butt heads a lot with other political groups, even some breaking off to run against the ANC. This is also something I found interesting, as that's pretty messed up in my eyes, considering that these are the people helping to fight apartheid for all in South Africa and Africa. But in the end, some people just couldn't see eye to eye and decided to go against what they started in the beginning. After exile, the ANC did help with educational policies with students that were also exiled, and this helped to keep the education going outside of exilement, as well as making sure that these people were safe, educated, and had places to stay. The last thing I found interesting was Winnie Mandela was able to serve in Nelson Mandela's imprisonment, and she was also spearheading the movement. I found that to be also very interesting, as in our country we tend to degrade women and see them not as powerful, and especially in other countries as well. And to see something inspiring as Winnie Mandela being able to stand up and prosper even after all that's happened to her was extremely motivating. How this research impacted me? This research impacted me by bringing me newer information to the table. It was also allowing me to research more and be a little bit more invested in this topic. Being able to see how the ANC was both good and bad for South Africa. By that I mean they were able to help push towards the end of apartheid, as well as create a safer environment for everybody, while at the same time they started to use guerrilla tactics. They started to, in a sense, corrupt their younger youth with the same tactics, and eventually they had to dig themselves out of that hole. As well as, to this day, the higher ups are having a little bit more scandalous interruptions with their rules, such as accusations of rape and stealing money and using money on their own homes for themselves instead of the country. Inspiring myself to get more into the research of South Africa and apartheid that was faced, to, in a sense, gain myself a wider knowledge and a better understanding so I'm not so ignorant to the issue. And lastly, understanding that even though ordinary people can come together to achieve some peace and create some peace, this is very important, as sometimes I feel as though I am nothing too big in the world and how am I supposed to change anything. However, in the end, just like these people, they were also nobodies in the beginning, and they were able to change for the better and help their country. These are my works cited pages, and I would like to thank the class and the teacher. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Stay safe. Bye.